I want to start with asking you, Jim, right away, right off the rip. You haven't been here. You've never been to this studio per se. No. You haven't been to this podcast. It's over years since the last episode we had you. Fair to say?
Yeah.
How do you feel about being here? And you tune in time to time. You're a lukewarm listener, I'd say. So how do you feel about, like, do you have any advice for me and Mikey right now going forward with the podcast?
No advice. No. Lukewarm listener. I'd say it's a credit to you guys.
Is it?
Go from a non-listener to
dude.
Comes on and I don't.
He said that. I didn't.
Comes on and I don't change it.
I keep it
rolling. Look, the algorithm sends it to me. Showering on the way to work.
Right.
Everybody's still asleep.
Right.
Get in. Get some coffee. Tell myself I'll be rid of these guys in a minute and put some music on.
Yeah.
After I get the coffee.
Yeah.
Listening to them droning on.
Yeah.
Until then. And then get the coffee, and usually I keep going until I get to work.
Oof. How about that?
LA traffic.
Come on, man.
Look, is it safe to say we're the realest podcast in the game? And if you think that, can you say it to the camera, A, B, or C?
Oh, dude. What would it mean to you?
I mean, it'd be everything. It'd be everything.
Dude.
Here it comes, Mikey. Here it comes. Come on, man. Please.
This is the realest podcast any of us are doing right now. You know what I mean?
Dude, we did. I don't want that.
This is
take that back.
We
man.
did it.
Dude. Keep that one. Yeah, keep that one.
Look,
put that back. I don't rewind the tape.
5 more years. In 5 years.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe we can get it out of you.
We got Quentin Tarantino and Rogan. I mean, I'm just saying.
All right, dude. All right. Fine. Look, I'll say we're the realest podcast in the game, Mikey. Cheers, dude. And I still love you.
It's the realest podcast I've ever done.
I appreciate that.
I'm not kidding.
I appreciate it.
He's done 3. And they're all on the podcast.
Cheers. But thank you for joining us, bro. I love you, man.
Buddy.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Listen, O'HaganCareerCoaching.com. Guys, straight out of college, you know what I did? I applied to 5 jobs.
Did you get them?
Went to 1 interview.
How'd it go?
To put it lightly, shit my pants and didn't get a job.
Well,
so luckily I was able to get a job through a family, and I'm okay now. But let me just tell you, don't be me. Go to O'HaganCareerCoaching.com, hit up Coach O, and he's going to tell you how to nail that interview, how to, do mock interviews, figure out what questions you got to be answering, what questions you have for the actual interviewer. Because I didn't know that was a thing, So if you want to learn more, if you want to win, if you want to ace that game, that test, go to O'HaganCareerCoaching.com and sign up.
Hey.
Any town. Actors lab.
Jim, what's the definition of acting if you were to ask Sanford Meisner?
I believe he said living truthfully under imaginary circumstances.
That is correct, my friend. And I have a place for you if you guys are interested in possibly picking up that definition of acting. If you watch acting right now, you watch films, you watch television shows, anything, and you're just kind of blown away by certain performances, and man, it's intuitive. Gosh, why am I so drawn to this actor? Why does it seem like it's happening in real life, real time? Why does it matter so much to me? Probably because those actors are living truthfully under imaginary circumstances, man. That's probably why. And I have a place to send you guys. It's the only place I'm going to send you guys. It's Anytown Actors Lab with Adam Louder out of the Dallas-Fort Worth area. If you're in the area, if you exist right now in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, classes may be enrolling very shortly in person. Slots are going to be limited, so hit him up. You can go to anytimeactorslab.com. In the meantime, watch his videos on YouTube. Watch his TikToks. He's giving it away for free. You're going to get a taste. You're not going to get the whole piece, but you're going to get a taste. Get a free consultation with Adam Louder right now at anytimeactorslab.com. Go learn how to act, man.
Yes. Shout out to the patrons, patreon.com/YouAreHerePodcast, guys. If you want to support us, if you want to throw us a bone,
give us your money.
The best way to do it.
Give us your money.
Is patreon.com/YouAreHerePodcast.
That's right.
We got extra clips up there. We got interviews we're doing on the street. We're talking to people. It's extra content for you. And it's as little as buying a coffee.
Come on, man.
So if you want to do that, get on there. Thank you. And thank you for supplying the drinks.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Dude, we just got out of watching a movie. I'm not going to name what it is, man.
Do it.
What? Why not?
Do it.
I have a question about it.
Do it. Name it.
Oh, man. Okay, go ahead.
No, you go.
You said you had
a question? First. You go first.
Okay.
Storytelling, man.
This is why we're not the realest podcast in the game. You cut me off. check this out, dude.
That is actually what's holding you guys.
Yeah. This is a major part of it.
If it weren't for that.
Yeah, the smoothness of it all. The state of things right now, as it stands in the entertainment world, right? Which you've been a part of for a long time, man. What do you see? Are you hopeful for the state of things?
Mm-hmm.
Are you a bit nervous? AI is a new thing. I just want to see like where you're at with it. I haven't gotten a chance to like open up about that with you. How you feeling?
Dude, I think like a lot of people like go up and down mostly based on what I don't know. Like, you know, you get a little bit of information, sometimes puts you in a pretty extreme context. Like, do you know we're going to all be replaced? And, you know, my mind and imagination and nervous system take all that on and go, oh, I'm out. It's over. And this thing I love and that I love that other people do, and I get to take that in is out. It's all just going to be computers now. But really what's happening there is I got some information and then filled in what I don't know with like a worst case scenario.
Right.
So I have days where I'm like scared. I have days when I'm just kind of like grumpy and whining about it. Like, I wish things were different. And then there are days when I try to just take a positive road and go, how cool is it that right now there's more movies from across different cultures and times available to me right now than anybody who's ever loved watching movies in the history of the world. I can put eyeballs on anything now. More people have the ability to tell a story with a camera than ever before. So those are positives, I think. And like I said, on a good day, I'm looking at like my tiny little lane saying the things that are important to me that I'd like to try to accomplish are kind of within reach. And that's happening right here and now at this time. That's everything. I am here.
See how that works?
Yeah, I do. Wow.
We're gonna get him by the end of the pod.
No, dude, it's
we're gonna get him the end. So.
The more I talk, it's just getting realer by the second.
Yeah.
Just kidding. No, dude, I like a mixed thing.
Yeah.
But ultimately, you know, like just an opinion, if I took the temperature of the state of things right now, I'd say it's like pretty tepid, cool bathwater, right?
Yeah, it feels that way.
Which means if there are more people feeling that way, something will happen in response to that. And people will go, well, then don't give them the bathwater, do this. And like, that happens. Yeah. Ultimately optimistic.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But like super romantic about the past.
Yeah.
Super.
Looking back.
Because of the impact it's had on me. Like, it continues to.
Yeah.
I think the state of things now maybe isn't easy to define personally outside of saying, well, here's how it affected me.
Right.
And most of what I watch now doesn't affect me at all. And so I put my eyeballs on something else and it's still hit or miss, but more often or not, when I look back across time or right now, but at other cultures and other parts of the world, I'm like, oh, you know, that did something to me. Anything at all. Most of what's out there right now doesn't do much to me, and that's as much my problem as it is the movie, right?
Yeah.
It's just taste. So
that's a very political answer.
Was it? You think it was too safe? Ready?
Yeah, hit it.
Okay.
But before you do that, I'm sorry.
No.
If you could just pull this
He's going,
a little bit closer.
Let him go.
Perfect.
Things have never been more dismal and horrible in terms of the value of what's out there than they are right now. Not true. A year and a half ago.
I just got to put out there.
Yeah.
Long Legs, highest grossing film for, I think, something this year or something. I don't know.
Really?
Yeah.
For this year.
And that's all the marketing.
And marketing was great.
And the movie was okay.
Lukewarm, bathwater.
Yeah.
Scary a little bit. Nick Cage.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Yeah. But that's different than how do I feel?
Yes, true.
Yeah.
True.
That's
true.
I guess it is. How do I assess it?
Yeah.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
Do you like stuff being made right now?
I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a major fan.
I don't think so. No, not really.
We had an interesting kind of text thread going saying maybe we could get into this and maybe we could get into that.
Yeah.
And what it revealed between Mikey and I is there's not, between the two of us, 5 things each we could come up with that's come out in the last year that meant anything at all to us.
100%.
Not 5.
Yeah.
Right. And
one a year, I think, is like,
but
a
like
hit.
the 1, 2, or 3 a year, really do.
Yeah.
But we were like, dude, I don't think I could do a top 5. I don't know. And I know less all the time because I go to our time less and less to try to enjoy something.
Totally.
I've been going back, man.
Yeah.
I've just been going back.
Yeah.
Go back.
Yeah.
Dude, it's beautiful back there.
I was getting pumped up about Costner releasing the Legacy, I think it was called, or something. But it was a trilogy of films that he was going to release in theaters in parts, back to back to back. And then they pulled it, right? Because apparently it had a really bad, it wasn't, audiences weren't flocking to see it enough. And I guess whoever was distributing it with that idea in mind said this isn't going to work anymore. And I was hyped for that, man. I was like really excited about it. But I guess had to change tactics.
Movie maker.
Costner, man.
Yeah.
I like Costner, dude.
I did too.
Yeah.
I was just thinking, man, like when there's some parts, like we won't go on a Costner jag, but like people thinking their way through problems, lawyers, and you think maybe I'm not just thinking of JFK, but like maybe his exemplary role. Dude, you know how hard? I've never seen it.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I
saw you love it.
I saw the pilot with my parents maybe a couple years ago. I don't know, it was Christmas and
didn't get a chance to.
I don't remember anything about it.
I got you.
But again, this, you guys know how it is, where the pilot sometimes like doesn't feel like
yeah.
Yeah. If you watch the pilot of Sopranos,
oh yeah, and
they're like playing clown music and driving circles in the Lexus in the grass, like it's like that's not what that show was to become.
No, it was not.
And, it was just finding itself. So I don't know if what I saw was a show just finding itself.
I got you.
Or if it just wasn't for me. But I like that dude who's making it all. I like that it's an actor that went like,
yeah, dude.
I'm gonna develop the ability to write and get a story told.
Doesn't that give you it gives me hope when I see something like that?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's what a lot of us wish to be doing.
Yeah.
And he's doing it at a high level.
Yeah, brother.
And he did that kind of really tough thing to do, where all the really high level people want to work with him. Like, that's hard to do.
Yeah, dude.
Right?
Yeah, man. They go to Costner to work now.
And Taylor.
And specifically Taylor.
That's who I meant.
Yeah, you're right.
That guy's cranking out stuff that.
How many shows did Taylor make in the last like 5 years?
I don't know.
And Tulsa King, I know, is a major one with Stallone. But he's got and he did the 2 spinoffs of Yellowstone.
Right.
19, whatever the 2 year, that dude is like, he took what wasn't working, I feel like, brought it to a place that it hadn't been, which is like an untapped market of people who would probably go flock to watch these kinds of stories be told. And he just started cranking out. I heard when he was on The Wire. Was he on The Wire?
Was he?
Taylor Sheridan was acting on a show. I don't know if it was The Wire. Maybe I'm thinking of a wrong show, but he was playing a role he wasn't too psyched about. Kind of late, he's getting up there in years, and he was like, I'm just going to start writing. Forget all this like me just acting shit. Yeah. I have stories I want to tell. I'm going to start writing. And then he took that really serious. A few years later, it's like, dude, kind of took over television, streaming.
Yeah.
That guy is like the king. I mean, in my opinion, when I look at the landscape of things, like he's a major powerhouse in storytelling, bro.
Yeah. The first thing I saw it with another actor. I was in LA in 2015. Me and an actor buddy went and saw Sicario.
Oh, God.
And both of us were just like,
what is this, dude?
Yeah. Like,
was Bernthal in that one too?
Yeah. John was in that. And then I think he was in Wind River.
I still remember when you brought him to the school.
Oh, yeah.
Bernthal.
Wasn't that generous of him?
That was really kind of him.
Dude, man. What a good guy. What a cool guy.
Yeah,
Wait,
man.
what happened?
His podcast is pretty fucking real.
Real ones.
That is a real one. You
Listen,
show me some clips of that one, dude.
Listen, man. It is real.
it's
like,
like,
I'm not gonna knock
I think that's the aim of the whole thing.
Yeah,
It's
real
it's
ones.
like,
Yeah.
But a lot of us could aim at it and not hit it
No.
with the precision or kind of like likability that John is.
100%.
Reality is not always likable. It's not always something you want to digest.
Mm.
And John put together this cool thing where people are vulnerable about
dude.
little pockets of the world that are tough and that we'd have no idea about.
Yeah.
And they come and tell their story and in a way that's enjoyable. Like that's kind of the magic trick, right? Is you could chase an audience away with how real life is sometimes.
For sure.
Pretty
man.
easily,
Yeah,
right?
dude.
Like there's a lot of cops you could talk to that could chase an audience away with all the horrible things they've seen.
Absolutely.
Those guys are as honest as I think they can be, and it's still pleasant.
Yeah, bro.
Good for them.
Yeah, man. Yeah, he's definitely carved a niche out
Yeah,
for sure with that podcast.
dude.
And he was a nice
came
guy.
on such short notice too.
Did he?
I just texted him and said, "Hey, man, are you in New York? I heard you're in New York getting ready for this thing." He goes, "Yeah. What's up?" I said, "I know how busy it is when you're preparing for something, but I'm teaching, and these students are down and for it, and they're serious, and they're they're into it the way we've talked about being into it, and into the tradition of it the way we've he and I had some conversations and when we worked together before, just about geeking out about the roots of the kind of acting we admire and stuff." And I was like, man, he'd be a good guy to come and talk to these guys, because he wants the real, he wants the art, he wants choice making, he wants yourself to be involved, and it's important to him that it's a story well told, right? And so and he's that's a guy when he's in the right part, he's one of those actors where you can't see somebody else in the part. You know what I mean?
Totally.
When he's in the right part, it's like, yeah, take it. Like there's no, it's got nothing but love for Big John.
He was cool, man.
Yep.
I caught him. He fell off stage. I caught him. I did.
This happened?
It's real.
What?
He fell
What are you
off
talking
stage.
about?
This is like the most athletic dude in Hollywood.
No, I know.
And he fell off the stage.
Listen, I knocked shot knocks for 2 steps.
Yeah.
Stage 2, 3, whatever,
yeah.
2 steps. But people are talking to him afterward, and he was like, he's standing at the edge of the step, and he took a misstep. And as I was like getting up to say thank you for coming and talking to us, and he kind of fell into my shoulder, man. So I held John Bernthal for
And you looked into his eyes.
Yeah, and he was like,
dude,
"Oh, thanks, brother." Like,
you got 2 seconds to set me down.
Yeah. I said, "Can I space jam some talent out of this dude?" Like, well, I got him in my
Tried
arms.
to soak it.
Yeah. Just let me get a little bit of craft out of this guy, man. No, he really rallied the troops, man. He was very cool. That was a special night. Everyone afterward was very pumped up.
And he just was so generous with his time.
Yeah, man.
Wide open, man. That's on the come up anytime. I just mean on the come up of your pursuit of the art form. Anytime I got to hear cool people, I got to hear Benicio, I got to hear Mark Ruffalo, I got to hear like the coolest people in the game. And I'm talking about when I was 21, 22, 20, you know what I mean? I got to hear them get up in front of 60 or 70 or 100 actors and talk for an hour or 2 hours or 3 hours. It's like, dude, I still remember the cool way Benicio wore his hat. And, it was just like it was just cool.
Yeah.
It was, and I thought, damn, I know a couple of those guys now.
Yeah.
And there's this group of young actors here, and like, that might be cool for them.
Yeah, dude.
And it might be cool for the guys to get to see the value of that they bring to the art form, right? They know the value they have in the business, but to be in a room where the people aren't in the business yet and say, I think this might make an impact and help you, inspire you, lift you up, whatever.
Yeah, man.
And we were on a hot streak. It was Shanley, Shia, and Bernthal.
I missed the Shia one. Wasn't in there yet.
It was God sparing you.
Yeah. I guess,
you would have run up on stage and
talk about
tried to kiss him on the mouth.
I would have tripped him.
He tried to
caught him, dude. I would have tripped his ass.
You would have tripped him and given him the
tied
Bernthal
his shoes
treatment
together and shit. Yeah, dude.
You looked him deep in the eyes.
Don't go near me, Shia, bro. I would have caught your ass up,
Dude.
boy. Here's the thing, bro. Well, you can't say what I was going to say. Go ahead.
What was the impact And I want you to have this moment right here on your own show.
I have a moment for you too. That's funny. You cut me off. Go ahead.
Shia made on you.
Real talk?
Yes.
He is. People are going to feel what they feel about him. I understand. I'm going to speak from the heart. That dude, before I even knew what it was about what I was like into.
Yeah.
His performances, and I said this a couple weeks ago, and it was embarrassing as fuck, dude. In Disturbia, which is like a secret or a Rear Window spinoff from a what's his name, bro? Hitchcock film.
It's like a reimagining.
Of the story. But what he did in that story, we were about the same age. There was something he was doing moment to moment. When his father, spoiler alert, dies in the first scene of the film. He's fly fishing with his father and they're in a car wreck. You don't see anything, but you see the camera's watching Shia get out of the car and kind of piece together what's happened. He doesn't know his dad's dead until he realizes it, looking back at the car. And I was like, dude, this motherfucker's dad's dead. Like, I felt it. So there was something about what he was doing where I was taken by his work.
Yeah.
He was I know he was revealing parts of himself to me, and he was doing it in a real, I don't know if it was intentional or not, but it was definitely vulnerability and honesty and instinctive qualities in his work that I was just grateful to experience.
Yeah.
And it pushed me into meeting you one day. Like that
could I throw this out there
please.
I'll tell you, we'll circle back, but did watching him act make you want to get up and act?
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he was the dude. He was the dude for me. Still, like, to be honest with you, I still respect his work 100%. And keep it real, like, that's my dog. Like when it comes to like this thing, like, that's my guy. Not that I hold him to a degree higher than God anymore, like I used to.
Yeah.
But, do I agree with what anyone just has done in their life, his decision, whatever? I'm not even gonna get into it because
doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Right.
I'm not God and I don't judge. But I fuck with his work big, man. And I'm very grateful that his work came into my life at a certain time when I needed it, when I didn't have much going on. And I felt very lost and directionless. He kind of assisted me and like brought me to a place where it motivated me to get up and do a thing.
There you go.
So respect to him, bro.
There you go.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Big time.
Yeah.
Man, I don't know. Did we ever talk about Jim if he has a figure like that?
Oh, that's a great question for you, bro. Can I say one thing before you say you answer your question? I want to say to you publicly on a live forum, you're gonna pull back, and that's fine.
Yeah, go for it.
I'm gonna lift you up right now and put you on where you deserve to be, brother. In my eyes, what you created with what you did with the school and giving many of us a place to walk away with craft, I think you don't get enough credit that you deserve for what you gave us in acting, because there was nowhere like it. It was something that there's been nowhere since that I can point to, really, aside from what Adam's building over in Texas. And what I benefited and what I know other people benefit and went off and use to this day is a tool about that. You created a space and then gave us the tools to go use them in the world. When all you had was a dream and you couldn't figure out how to pursue it, you created a actual space. You brought us into your home and you taught us how to do things that we could have never picked up and spent years chasing, wasting time and money and energy and probably never finding a home to pursue our dream. So I got to say thank you for what I don't think you get enough of praise for. And that's it, period. And now what's your answer for Mike's?
Dude.
Yeah.
Thank you for saying that, man. Thank you.
That's it.
When an impact like that was clear, it was like that was my original motivation. That remained my motivation.
And you did it.
It was like, damn, when in the just principles and teachings that come to us that weren't mine, they weren't, so I don't, but I was devoted to trying to reach you guys with that.
You did.
And it was really powerful and special when it did, and I could see that it did, and it deepened my own appreciation for those principles. Watching the way that, like you said, it touched people off sometimes, and thank you.
Yeah.
Dude, I've had a few. Shia is the only actor under 40, maybe 45 that makes me want to get up and act. I saw him do that play last fall in Venice Beach.
Oh, the Mammoth?
Yeah.
What was that like, bro?
It was, he and I had talked a few times about theater, and he was always, as an artist, I think he would just say, like, it freaks me out, blah, 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 blah. Like a healthy respect, like knew he was doing it, but was always like, man, I need the time has to be right or something. Mm-hmm. And maybe, God knows he should listen to his acting instincts. Like the dude's the best actor of across two generations right now out of our country. And there he was in this tiny little 99-seat theater, cool ripping David Mamet play. It means everything that happens makes you go, oh my God. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. David Mamet sees that as the playwright's job to keep you going, well, what's going to happen?
Right.
He sees that as the playwright's job.
That, bro.
Dude, that's why they rip.
Yeah.
That's why they rip. That's why they could even be badly acted and rip.
Yeah.
This one, when it came to Shia, was not that. And I was proud. I was moved. I was inspired. Made me want to like get better.
Yeah.
Made me want to get better.
Wow.
And then made me want to do a play. And I've been doing a play. And so Shia is one of them for me. Like, didn't know his stuff as a young guy, worked with him, got to know him, immediately had like a real love for the guy. Which at times has been hard to balance with my admiration for what he's able to do. It's like I'm still in a state of being impressed, to where maybe it makes it harder to just be the bud. I'm still fucking impressed, and I'm still going, man, that's something to aim at. You know what I mean? And who knows the cost of all that, but he's willing to pay it. And it's cool to see, even from kind of way over here, just somebody you care about like that, find their way and heal up and go out and like he's out there in the world helping people. You know what I mean? It's cool. It's really cool. And, but just on the art level, if you're under 45, like that's, I mean, his wife, frankly, dude.
Yeah. Oh my God. We watched a couple of years ago, Pearl. And now Maxine's out.
We sat there during
I was stunned.
That's the word. Just jaw dropping.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, those are the two. This generation. To get back to your question, I was really, really blessed to have the actor that made me want to act. The first that I could kind of like, I want to do that, was Robert Duvall. And I didn't know anything about his tradition or history of acting or any of that stuff, because I was 8 years old. But I was just like, boom, that is better than anything I can see. I want to be that. I got on my bike and pretended it was my horse and pretended I was this old man. And like again, where I'm going with all this is there seems to be this thread of like the people who make you want to get up and do it. Yeah. Right? Probably same with music too. Like the DJs who make you want to get up and throw down, like they have such a different impact. Yeah. And so Robert Duvall was that actor for me. And then by the grace of God, I crossed paths with him before I had a career, and was just an eager idiot. And he just took a liking and interest to me, and we just started this kind of kinship. In my first few jobs, I would talk to him about, what about this? What about that? And he this is Robert Duvall, man. It would take time to sit on the phone. And it was a really cool moment in 2004. And I was doing my first ever acting job. It was 20 years ago this fall. And I was at home with my parents. Yeah, it's crazy. Ooh. September. Yeah.
2 decades.
I was at home. We're shooting in Philly. Cheers.
Cheers to your career, cheers. Buddy.
Thanks, man. It's been a blessing. I was at like on the border with my mom and dad and sister.
Underrated spot.
By the way. Realest restaurant in the restaurant game. Realest Mexican food.
Hold up.
You're mocking. He's mocking us now. Dude. He's mocking us.
I'm
not. Don't clap at that.
I was trying to have a little Momo.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. But I was sitting there on the border and like look at my phone, and his wife was calling. So I answered. She goes, "Aren't you in Texas right now?" I said, "Yeah." And she said, "What are you doing right now?" I said, "I'm at dinner with my parents." And she said, "Do you want to come to this thing in Dallas? They're giving Bobby this honorary Texas award." And he said, "See if Big Jim's here and wants to come up and be a part of that." What? He was thinking about that on the night. What? We just met 5-6 months ago.
That's crazy.
I had like told him roughly my time. Like it just meant a lot that it was on his mind that maybe it would be cool to do that.
You're like that guy.
Dude, that
has
guy.
You in his mind.
That guy. No. I don't know how to emphasize it properly.
Please.
That guy. There's not a false moment in a 65 or 70 year career.
False moment.
That guy is going, "Hey, see if that one idiot wants to come out and have some fun." And I said, "Dude, I've got my mom and dad. Yeah, bring them.
Wow.
Pay the bill real quick. And my family, because of what Lonesome Dove means to them.
Oh.
And for my dad, what Apocalypse Now meant to him, and all of it, they're giddy. And at that point, we had never met anybody with any kind of notoriety or fame or celebrities or anything like that. So we're all kind of giddy, and we go 25 miles to Dallas and pull off. And Lou Diamond Phillips, who I think is from Texas and is part of it, like did plays in Fort Worth and stuff, was up there talking. Bobby gets up, does his little thing, comes out, he's hanging out with everybody. And I remember he shook my dad's hand, and he had never seen me act, right? We'd only had conversations. No, he'd seen me doing improvisation at his house. Me and him, Fernando Vargas, the boxer, James Franco, Paul Gleason.
You're talking about Oscar De La Hoya?
Fernando Vargas? That's
what is he doing at improv?
This was Bobby's design.
Wow.
This was who Bobby wanted to have an improvisation at the house with. Wow. And his kid, the kid that just fought.
Yeah.
Was in his arms.
Unreal.
Yeah, what world is that? And it's just dinner and then let's improvise for fun.
That's like a dream to me,
dude,
bro.
For fun.
Like, let's get together, eat, and then let's improv.
The house they had in LA. Cooked this thing. His wife cooked these Argentinian steaks. And so anyhow, that was before all this. That's the only acting you ever seen me do. And James and I sat over there virtually silent, doing nothing, while Fernando Vargas almost punt. I thought he was going to fight Duvall. I thought he was going to knock him dead.
Really?
Yeah. Duvall was seeing if he could, and he
get
did,
him to go.
And he did.
Wow.
He did. I won't go into that, but he did.
Yeah.
In front of his family, he did. And the dude, I was like, oh, this dude's not used to like, in improvisation, which is essentially a game of messing with reality.
Yeah.
This dude just brought his family over to some famous actor's house, and then all of a sudden started getting poked. So he had a human response, which is kind of what good acting is, right? And so that was the only time he had seen me act. And he shook my father's hand and looked him in the face. And first of all, my dad said, "I'm his dad." And he goes, "Oh, no way." And he was like, just kind of like, "Yeah, you guys look alike." And then he told my dad, he said, "If he works hard and stays with it, Jimmy's really got something." And I just went like, and turned that way. And like this brick rose up in my throat. Then my acting hero was telling my dad that he thought maybe I had something. And I was like, dude, such a precious, like, God-given moment that I can still see. I can still see the looks on my family's faces, and still just in awe of. That's another friend that I'm in awe of. I don't mind saying it about people who have become my friends. Like, they're the ones that I'm a fan of and I'm in awe of.
Yeah.
And So there you go. That guy helped God a little bit. And then there's just too many to count, man. So many good guys kind of from like all over the recovery community that are also actors or musicians and stuff that were passing down, like, you know, hey, how to stop drinking and stop drinking. But then they would also just share stuff about what had worked for them. And that was, so I was always so inspiring, like super, super inspiring. So yeah, I got the right people were put around me and given to me. And the older I get, the more I value that. Mm-hmm. This is when I was young and it was just happening. It was kind of like, oh shit, whoa. Looking back, I'm like, wow, man. There's a lot of orchestration involved in that.
Mm. You didn't catch that at the time?
I caught the gratitude, big time. I guess I didn't understand how rare it was for people pursuing this thing to have an encounter like that. I get now that, you know, most 22-year-old actors don't befriend Robert Duvall. I mean, like, you know, without trying. I didn't seek him out. I didn't, you know what I mean? Like,
you got to call it on the board.
What is that? But
it has to be.
Yeah. It's for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't know. Maybe it served its purpose. Maybe it will someday. I don't know. Yeah. One of the things that it definitely made me do is, you know, try to, with the things that are cool, is try to pull in people that are enthusiastic and give them a little lift, you know? Mm. Like there's that in Frank Capra's incredible book, the name above the title is the name of his autobiography. There's this discovery moment he has after making movies for, I think, 20 years. He said something to the effect of, that's when it dawned on me, that was my purpose in this world, was to lift the human spirit. Mm. And, you know, go watch a Frank Capra movie, and the good ones,
It's a Wonderful Life,
will lift your spirit. And that might be that kind of thing Harold Clurman was trying to say, is that art ought to intensify mankind's desire for life. It ought to, and I think he said appetite. It ought to intensify your appetite for living. Yeah. And in other words, it makes you want to get up and do something, or it makes you say, what's out there? Oh my God. Or just makes you stop in your tracks and ask yourself some question, or say some little thank you. So, you know, like when you get that, that's what we go back to with, you know, our times, those moments. And maybe it's me and maybe it's the time, and it's probably a combination, but I'm not getting those kinds of moments from what I put my eyeballs on these days. It's being made these days. That's not like a complaint. I'm not the savior of that. I don't have any real ideas about what to do about it, except that, you know, when it's time to do something and make something, make it the way you believe, and find out for yourself how hard it is to do, to pull off your values, right? Like, dude, find out for your own ass how hard it is. Like, it's so easy from right here to go like, you know, and they're working out of their values. Yeah. And probably a lot of times they hit the target they were aiming at, which is something to be admired.
Yes, dude.
And I had this really cool thought that only our time, I think, could have produced in me, which is, either way, like it or dislike it, love it or hate it, there's a way to look at a movie as is a gift for you to express yourself, right? Yeah. It was when I was making that movie last summer that you produced, that I just went, if what I'm praying for and hoping for is the enjoyment of the audience, what that might mean is that at the end of this 30 minutes, somebody clicks it and turns to their girlfriend and goes, what a pompous ass. What a piece of shit. And gets to go on a tirade of hatred towards my movie that they're so passionate about that they enjoy it.
They're alive, baby. They're alive.
Now, maybe that was me preparing myself for the worst, right? Sounds like it probably was, except that's how I enjoy movies. Yeah. I'll watch something and 3 minutes in, say to Haley, like, God damn, dude, like, what are we? And then keep going. And we enjoy the rip.
Yeah, dude.
And not of people but like what it amounts to. Like I'm done. I think as a young guy I would watch stuff and be like, that actor sucks. I'm like, dude, you know what? It's hard.
Yeah.
And I don't enjoy that anymore. But like, you were trying to sell us this shit and we see that and we're still like, won't say what, but just like, cool, we are going to find a way to enjoy this.
Yeah.
You know? So, and the other way, of course, is to go, oh my God, that was a blast.
Yeah.
That made me want to get up and make something or do something or call mom.
I don't know if it's the drugs you gave us.
The drugs.
The nootropics that you slipped us in our Topo Chicos.
Are you flying?
No, you answered the question before. I was about to ask you the question, what is it about acting why do you think it's important? Why do you think stories are important at all? And you just kind of went off on a very eloquent riff to answer the question.
And the main answer would be, I don't know. I like those I know are part of it. And then there's some stuff about it that's super mysterious, like why, and maybe it's obvious to other people, but for as long as it's been around, like why does it seem like stories are part and parcel with being a human being? There's no other species that would describe them. Hey, there's no other species that could describe themselves, but they would describe themselves that way if they could. Like, that's pretty curious. That's pretty interesting. Mm-hmm. And then, geez, we've been getting up and doing the stories for so long. And everything's changed. Technology's changed. This has changed. That's changed. Where you do it, how you do it, why you do it, when, what style, what a bit, all of it, like good, bad, all of it. People get up and do a story, and that hits in its own kind of different way. And some of it's what we were just saying, and some of it's damn mysterious. I don't know.
Yeah.
And that, that kind of keeps it cool too. There's a lot of mystery to this.
Yeah, mystery's good.
When it's not where are my car keys. It's but when
there's
a
veil of mystery.
Yeah, when there's something akin to magic about it, right?
Yes.
It's kind of like, what is that part?
Yeah, man.
We can describe the function of it all and the societal function and even the individual benefit of expressing yourself or devoting yourself to something or whatever. But like, why does sometimes it seem to be like, why sometimes it is spiritual, and sometimes it seems like a kind of magic spirituality. And it's like, damn, that's what is that? Yeah. What makes me glad to be a part of it, I guess.
For sure.
Yeah.
Same, dude.
Yeah.
Same, man. You took a big swing last year making making your first, more recent, full-blown production. And we were talking about it at the diner a bit, like part of the mystery of throwing yourself in, when you get called like that, when a Duval or a Shy or whatever gets you to get up and go do your thing. And now 20 years down the road, you're like, I think I'm going to take a swing here at this story that I'm going to develop and, rally the troops for and make. I was talking about that verse with you, Mikey. I'm going to try to reel you in a bit more with the gospel real quick. I'm going to get you on the line. Ecclesiastes 11. I'm going to butcher it, but it's Ecclesiastes 11, more or less.
Jamie, will you pull up?
Jamie, pull it up.
Okay.
Jamie?
Ecclesiastes? I never heard of it.
Ecclesiastes 11 says something about, but there's some things you cannot be certain of. You will have to take a chance. If you wait for the perfect weather to plant, you will never plant your seeds. And if you fear every passing cloud for rain, you will never reap what you sow. So that is something that like I took to heart because I was speaking to you early on about the process, and I was lucky enough to like be a part of your journey with it. When it came to planning and getting it there, and you're my friend, and I'm like, how can we do this in a way where we don't set ourselves back, where we're doing it in the best way possible to tell the best story, but also not break the bank and ruin our lives. And, I'm thinking the worst, when in all reality, this is a risk. This is a huge risk. And, however you see it, but it's a risk. You have to put yourself out on a limb. You have to be willing to risk something to create.
Yeah.
And, that process definitely gave me a lot of faith afterwards, where like, I could see where I was coming from a fearful place, especially when I get hit with a verse like that this morning. And it just like rung my bell that I was going to see you. And the last time I was thinking about the film, I'm like, man, I should have spoke up more. I should have said more about this or that or whatever, when we haven't even seen the impact of what the film is.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just, from your perspective now, brother, like being in the process of seeing it to the end, like, how do you feel about how it went down? And like, specifically in this moment, like, where is it headed? Like, where are you in the process, and where is it headed?
So for the first part, kind of what did I get from it? What did I take from it?
Dude.
Yeah. So it was my first attempt to do something within like a degree of normalcy or conformity to how movies are made.
Right.
I really liked the kind of counterculture spirit of those John Cassavetes movies, and I ran in, and still do, and like ran into that's a different way to put it, but that's what it feels like with the John Cassavetes movie. I ran into this guy and was just like, first thing and notice is different. Like before I could anything, don't really know who the actors are yet. Didn't really know their work. Isn't that Columbo? Isn't that, like different. This is different.
Yeah.
What's different about it? And it seemed to me at 28 or 29, what was different about it was that, he was working almost formlessly. It seemed. Well, he was a writer first and foremost. And he not only finished scripts, but usually had something like a novel underneath or behind the scripts. And maybe they were non-traditional scripts, but they had a fucking beginning, middle, and an end. And maybe it wasn't obvious what the story was, but there was a story. And I took I don't have to have a beginning, middle, and end or a story. It can just be, it's harder to make a story than capture everything. And I just didn't understand what he was doing and thought it was all freedom. What ends up on screen is so free and so much freer than any other filmmaker you're ever going to see, including like just skip the cameras one time and just, people never talk about his technical prowess, but, skip the actors one time if you can and watch the freedom of the camera.
Yeah.
Watch the way they light to where they can go anywhere. That's deliberately setting yourself up to be free. The actors know if we leave the room, we'll be followed. If we feel that we ought to leave the room, we have a director who's going to look at the cameraman and go, instead of, hey, you're out of the light.
Yeah,
And so, you know how when you're weary from trying to get something right desperately, the way I was trying to get acting right during those years, and somebody comes along and goes, who said right? Fuck that. It's like, whoa. Got me. What are we talking about? And it's like, how about this? How about the rawest, realest, most insane acting you've ever seen?
Yeah, dude.
How about the wildest, most nuanced stories you've ever seen?
Yeah, man.
How about the inner workings of the mind of a woman in a situation that's never made its way to the screen before? It's always been the fellas getting it. How about all? And it's like, dude. And all I could see was the freedom. So I attempted to make some movies with this real spirited, actor-centric, kind of freedom worshiping, formless, unfinished. A lot of people rightly going like, where's the movie? Where's the movie? You didn't catch the spirit? It was like,
it's not about the movie.
But like with acting, where before I really knew what to do or had any experience, and without trying to imitate, you kind of fall into a sort of imitation. The guy I tried to imitate is like the guy everybody's tried to imitate, and nobody's been able to imitate.
Stella.
Oh no, I mean Cassavetes, but yes,
I think about Brando,
well,
man.
dude. Yeah, well,
That's what I was trying.
dude,
to
for a whole generation of people
Yeah.
of motion picture makers, John Cassavetes was their Marlon Brando.
Yeah.
He was the first and the greatest,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah, definitely.
He is their Marlon Brando.
Yeah,
If you're Martin Scorsese, if you're
you're a Cassavetes fan.
he's your Marlon Brando,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And is on the record having said that, right? And like John Ford's is James Dean.
There you go.
He's got it,
Yeah.
right? And so there's these cool parallels. But now it was time to try to move from acting to making a movie. And I was like, give me that cool shoulder rig that John has in that one picture. I'll fucking just blast. And did for years.
Yeah.
Finished one very experimental movie that, I think had some cool values, personal value, and it was definitely out of my values at the time, and the acting was out of the values I believed in at the time.
Thank you.
Yeah.
No, I wasn't in that one, dude.
No, I know.
No. I missed that one. Don't laugh at that.
And then one that I just couldn't finish because I never finished the script and kept reimagining it, dragging on, and both cost a lot of money, and I can't find a copy of the first one anywhere.
Wow.
Yeah, and the other one's just kind of unfinished footage out there. And so this was the first time I went, what are your values? Well, a movie starts with a script, like not a concept, not a cool shot in your head, not wouldn't that be sick to watch someone act? I want to act that, not I want you to see what my uncle's like, or any of these things. That it starts with
story.
Hey, I got one for you.
Yeah.
Right? Can I ask you something real quick?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You just pinched me out, dude. Sometimes you say a story, this story, that story, or stories. And sometimes you say story like it's the name of an entity. Like non-plural, nondescript. Like you'll say, you said it at the diner. No, I'm just wondering, like,
I love this. I
No,
love you
I
so much, dude.
I love you too.
Please go.
But like it almost, and I was like, do you know you're doing that? Or is it's had the kind of impact on you that it feels like a person?
That.
Or is it really?
Yeah.
And so it's the way that instead of you'd say Mikey's, you'd just go Mikey.
Yeah.
Instead of saying I want to tell stories, you're like almost like my partner's story.
1,000%.
That's trippy. Were you aware of that?
No, not until you. That's why you freaked me out.
Were you aware of that? Have you caught him?
Well, now that you say it, I definitely heard that a lot.
Yeah,
It is an entity.
It's an entity.
Dude,
an entity.
so here's the closest comparison I can think of. Remember Long Island Medium?
What are you doing right now?
No, it's not an attack by any means.
Okay.
I'm talking about what you just said, that it's personified almost, that it's a relationship to you. That woman, I'm not taking this down some crazy road. She would talk to people and instead of saying the spirit or this spirit or that spirit. Is telling, she would just say, spirit's telling me blah, blah, blah. And when I hear you say story, but now it makes sense because it's what it means to you is it's someone in your life almost.
Absolutely.
Got it.
And it's a force. It's a full blown, like a gift and an entity that exists.
It is a force. It is a force.
Yeah, that's how I see it.
Wow. Yeah.
And that's why I'm elevated.
Boom.
That's why.
And that wasn't to make you self-conscious. That was me really just going, I wonder.
No, I appreciate that.
I wonder, is it that?
All jokes aside, I appreciate you calling it out because I didn't even think
It's
about
not calling her shit out. I was
not just being
interested.
Yeah, no, I appreciate not calling out, but bringing a spotlight to it that I didn't think of before.
That's that's the mysterious thing we're talking about. Like, what is this effect that stories have on us that like can manifest in these different ways?
It's almost like you're putting it to like a different level of respect too.
That's what it is.
Reverence,
dude.
Total
It is. It's total reverence. Yeah.
It's like this upper level, because when things are just, they don't do anything. Like we're saying with current things, I'm not feeling that story. I'm not feeling, what I mean? You don't think, when you think of a bad movie, you're not like, oh, the story sucked. You don't even think about the story. You're just like, oh, that was
a waste.
There's no experience. There's no, like, I didn't get any of this.
Yeah.
You usually point out the absence of a story.
That's what I with the thing today, I said that in my
I don't know what happened.
There's no story.
Right.
To me,
maybe it's me.
Realized, and it could be me. That's me.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. It doesn't go in my story category.
Yeah, no, me neither.
Yeah.
It was cool. It was
Yeah,
like a
fun,
lounge. It was
fun.
like a cool lounge act.
Cool. Yeah. Shtick.
Shtick.
Is the good word.
You need another topo, Jim?
Oh yeah, you wanna
Crack it open, buddy.
Thanks, Mikey. This might be the realest podcast in the world.
You see how close we're getting? We almost got him.
Just need a Mikey to crack
Yeah,
that
yeah.
topo. There you go.
Drop
There
one
you go.
more of those
Thank you.
fucking nootropics, dude. Let's really get loose.
Dig in there, Mike.
At 3, dude.
No, I'm lit up.
Are you guys feeling them?
Yeah, I am.
I feel
I
clarity.
feel like,
But there's also
why didn't we do this in acting class?
caffeine.
Why didn't we have this in Playhouse? Because I feel like I would have
then you're gonna be like,
analyze
I need this to
expensive.
Arthur Miller way quicker than I did before. Yeah.
Yeah.
You from the
That
bridge.
was a Haley discovery. There was just a bottle of supplements on
wow.
the table, and I was like, "What is this?" And she's like, "Nootropics."
Shout out Haley Walters. Thank you.
Straight up. This podcast is fueled by your influence.
Totally
Clearly.
fueled, juiced up.
Juiced.
I feel juiced.
I'm not going to say the name of the company.
Don't. They don't pay you nothing.
Nah. To get back to
Not yet.
what we're talking about briefly and hopefully concisely. I liked this David Mamet idea that what a movie script is kind of like, hey, I got one for you.
Yeah.
Or, hey, did you hear about the guy?
Yep.
What guy? Oh, he was a this and this, and then they fucking
This
went in
happened.
there, and then boom.
Yeah.
And it's like, I can handle that.
Mhm.
I can handle looking at it that way. In other words, like I kind of had my reverence worked itself out in kind of bringing it down to like the bar room level of like,
Mhm. Mhm.
do you know what I
Oh,
mean?
Yes, I do. Expound on that a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, it was reverence for what stories are that made me kind of dawned on me and realized like the script is king and queen.
That's right.
Mm.
And instead of wanting to write like a good or I think maybe that's a better word, impressive script, I thought, man, the couple times I heard it or read it, and I don't remember where, in some of the David Mamet stuff, he says it's all like a joke.
Mhm.
Did you hear the one about the guy who, and it begins, and then some shit happens, and then it's surprising but inevitable.
Mhm.
And you enjoy the surprise, and you enjoy the part where you go, "Oh, dude, I knew but you didn't, but you did," and it's a good joke works like that.
Yeah.
I thought we were going, but we got here, and if I had thought better, I would have seen that instead of the other thing. And I went, wonder if I could just start in this like desire to make motion pictures. If I could start by just, instead of trying to be impressive, see if I could, out of my values, write, hey, I got one for you. And maybe kind of build it around a joke.
Uh-huh.
And so I included this joke I'd heard growing up in the action of the picture, and the rest is just, it's a world where that joke can happen for a reason. And that's all I wanted to do. I didn't, I could see, I'd be lying to you if I said those other attempts at making movies I wanted somehow that process to turn me into my hero straight up. And that, it's okay. It was an innocent enough motive, but it was naive, and it was just the beginning of something. And a little bit of maturity I've gained along the way is like, story's king and queen. You aren't a lifelong devoted writer, so careful what you call yourself. Why don't you humbly begin at something you believe you could manage? Like, hey, I got one for you. Did you hear about the guy who fucking ... And it was a blessing because I could do that. I was able to do that. It wasn't even very difficult to do that.
Mhm.
And it wasn't meant to impress anybody. And you and Adam were incredibly helpful from the inception. I got this idea and called them and had seen little pieces of the movie they made, which was just stunning.
Thanks, dude.
How good you were in the little pieces I saw.
Thanks, buddy.
And clearly how much care had gone on into that, not just on your end, but with almost no resources, you're looking at a really rare occurrence, and it's like, well, yeah, Adam's there making sure it's that and not something else. And he picked Dave to deliver, and look, fuck, Dave's delivering. I was so inspired. A couple months after that, I hit these guys up and said, I want you guys to produce this little thing I want to write. And I want to do it in 100 days. And I needed that. I needed that end zone. I think a lot of us are probably like this. Like, I'm not only not great with no structure of time, like I'm just not a good version of myself when there's no structure of time. And the 2 attempts I'd made before like went on for years. And so I was like, nope, on this day we're shooting. Talk to these guys first. And we started talking about how to turn a story into a script. And, they asked, what do you want it to be? And I told them, and Adam and Dave were the rails of the roller coaster. Like, you guys know what I'm trying to accomplish. And then here's what I did. Do those things match? Oh, what about this? Think about this. And then, but like, yeah, they do. Okay. I know you guys care as much as I care. Just like if I was jumping in on your thing, because it's you, I would care as much as I could. And I trusted that about both of them. Like, I'm going to get everything they got. And, couldn't have picked better. It was incredible. And so we wrote it, got the ball rolling. I started seeking out professionals instead of affordable dreamers like myself, which is the way I had done things before mostly. Like, I didn't very often go to a professional and bring in a camera team, and lighting team, and not very often. And did all that this time. So I really tried to put thought and care into it, and just give it everything I had, for knowing it was going to be a half-hour movie. I financed it myself because I didn't think it fair to ask other people for something that at the time I thought probably didn't have a great shot at a return on investment because it wasn't a feature film. And I thought, whatever, spend this money, be wise as you can with the way you spend it this time. And then, if all you get out of it is the movie and the movie finds an audience, would you be willing to lose every dollar you spent? And I was like, yeah, I would if it found its audience somehow. So let's do it. And I was eager to like work out of my values. And that was the other motive, was make something for the enjoyment of the audience, which is what we're talking about. I'm personally, just as a fan, not getting from movies. And it's obvious lots of things are being considered. And we don't have to go into those things. And it's obvious the enjoyment of the audience is not being considered. Right? And it don't, you had an honest reaction when I first said enjoyment of the audience, almost like, and it helped me articulate what I meant better, almost like an amusement park, kind of like, and I was like, no, I mean enjoyment, right? Mm-hmm. And we know what we're talking about when you say that word. When you go to the movies and you enjoy it, it means that you were able to participate. And I thought, that's my one and only motive, not to become a director, for the enjoyment of the audience and to enjoy working out of my values, which you don't always get to do when somebody else is in charge, right? You can try to smuggle in as many as you can, but somebody else gets to call the shot.
That's right.
It's their project, and you were free to not do it, right? So, and they said, that's your motivation. I said, that's my motivation. And then a kind of third cool one came up, which was a really personal thing where I wanted to make a tribute to my grandfather on my dad's side that I didn't realize was a driving force. It did feel like I got to properly honor him at the end of his life, and missed his funeral service because I a lot of reasons, but didn't feel good about that. It was like I wanted to have some punctuation on that life. And it would have been being there and saying something to my family, and maybe it's not too late to say something to my family about what my grandfather meant to me. And didn't know that was part of why I picked this joke, and didn't know that was part of why I'd structured it that way and everything. And, these guys were asking the right questions, and it came up, and I just started crying. I was like, well, I think it maybe because, like,
we found it.
and they laughed at me. And said,
No,
no, not at all. They were like, wow. And I was like, oh, that's really cool. Like, not many producers would start by saying, what is your personal, energetic life force motivation for saying, I want to take this on? And that was where we started. And that was where they started with me. And that's when I knew, that's when I was sure, like, whatever else they can or can't do, I don't give a fuck. Like, these are the guys making this movie with me. Mm. And we just kept adding incredible people, and had a ball, shot it. I saw a really interesting, powerful thing happen where all these people from Hollywood and some from New York and stuff, we shot in the great burg of Madisonville, Texas.
Shout out Madisonville, too.
The whole city.
Incredible place.
Dude.
Incredible place.
Dude.
And shout out Uncle Kev. I hope he's listening.
Big Kev. I doubt he will, but we can probably make him.
Let him know I said what's on his face.
Dude, but I got to use my family to tell this story. I got to use this town that for me is kind of like the idealized Texas town. Like when I think of, not when I think of home, but when I think of like the spirit of Texas, you know, there's a lot of versions of it. But for me, it's an energy and cattle town. It's also got a lot of people that work at the prison 25 miles away. And, you know, I think it's beautiful.
It's incredible.
It's just beautiful. And the people just turned out and were generous and welcoming and loving to us, and as different as their culture is from some of our crew and the filmmakers' culture. There was this incredible symphony of tolerance and interest and cooperation. And it was like, you know, not to be super corny, but it was an incredible picture of what it could be like. Right? Like obviously easier to maintain over 7 days than 300 years. Easier to maintain when it's 14 people all with a common aim instead of 7 and 7 or something like that. But it was like this really cool democracy kind of shining. And there were two of our AD crew were a lesbian married couple from Brooklyn, actually. They were out west, and met them working on Lone Star. And the night they got there, we had that steak dinner, which was so fun.
That was amazing. Yeah, man.
They kind of pulled me aside and like totally respectfully, but totally sincerely said, asking about this little town. Are we going to be safe there? Mm. And I, you know, took the question seriously and really thought about it and went, I couldn't tell you that, you know. I also couldn't tell you that in LA. And I couldn't tell you that in Brooklyn. Because safety covers a lot of things, but I knew what they meant. And I said, but here's what I can tell you is that everybody that you encounter that has anything to do with what we're up to, I promise you, will be welcoming and respectful and cooperative. And if they're not, talk to me, and then let's figure it out. And one of like the most precious memories of the whole thing is after shooting wrapping up the picture that night, everybody had to head out, you know, wheels up to California and get the camera stuff, send it home. And at this ranch that I've been going to since I was a kid, I look back and there's like this lesbian couple from Brooklyn sitting there with like real ass cowboys and their wives, and everybody's got, you know, a Miller Lite or a Michelob or something in their hand, and the cigarettes are going, and the sun's gone down. It's like a balmy Texas night. And the same girl that asked me that question is like in community with these people super different from her, and like turns to me and puts her arm around her wife and goes, we decided we're never leaving Texas. And I was like, dude,
painting, dude.
I've been saying
it made me cry. It made like when I called Haley that night, I was like, you should have seen that. Like, I was riding a real high. There was a lot of adrenaline. I was exhausted, but that moment hit me, and I was like, damn, I was so proud of my family.
Oh, they were.
Do you know
awesome,
what I'm saying?
Man. They were awesome.
And I was so proud of my friends and the people I was working with. You know, like those people could have shown up, and my family in that town could have been like, we don't know this. This is different. Yeah. Fuck you guys. Yeah. And The movie people could have showed up and gone, the fuck is this place? Little sparrow fart. You guys don't know shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And nobody did that. Nobody wanted to do that.
No.
Everybody was just like, what's up? Let's do it. Let's accomplish this thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was awesome. It was really cool to see that.
Over in K-Bar Ranch.
K-Bar. Yeah.
Dude, and then one of my favorite points of the trip was first time I was ever in a Buc-ee's.
Come on.
on our trip down, man.
Come on.
What's you never been to Buc-ee's?
No, dude.
What's like?
I still gotta go to Texas.
What do you do when you roll into a Buc-ee's? What's like the go-to for you? What are you grabbing?
I'll tell you first.
Gun to head. No, I'm just kidding.
Bathroom.
Okay.
They've got a bathroom system worked out. Where it's like the bathrooms at this
It's a
gas
mall,
station are cleaned like your hotel. Like
Wow.
they're cleaned every 15 minutes or something like that. There's a huge bathroom. There's a nice efficient line. There's one line for when you got a number 2, another line for the
Really?
Oh, dude, there's an attendant.
So it's the future.
That. No, I mean they're on it, dude.
They're not asking things like, "Do you need to take a shit?" But they're like, "Stalls are that way."
Yeah,
like, kind of reading you.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
And like, and the employees there are paid incredibly
I
well.
bet they are,
No,
bro.
incredibly well. That was like one of the things they decided to do to be different.
Yeah.
And so they're well taken care of for a job like that.
I didn't see a sad face in a bunch. And you go to a convenience store here or a gas station, it's like hell on earth, dude.
Yeah.
It's not a happy place to be.
Right.
But Buc-ee's is like everyone seems to be pretty at peace with where they are. Not
Totally.
only, but like
Good at their
enjoying
little
what they're
position.
doing. Yeah, at the
dude.
meat station
Yeah.
or whatever.
Mm.
There's a whole there's a whole
You know
like
what?
pork
I've seen
pork
videos,
spot.
man.
It's
I'm
wild.
trying to go.
I got some crazy
You didn't give me no beaver
Uh-oh.
nuggets or something?
no.
How do you know about beaver nuggets, dude?
Well,
Damn.
we had somebody
is, that
used to
how, is that
listen.
how big
Yeah,
Buc-ee's is?
we have actually. It has to do with you.
Really?
Oh
One of
yeah.
your biggest fans,
Oh
man.
my God, you had a huge fan that used to listen to the pod. I don't know if she still does. Shout out, but
Maddie, right?
Maddie,
Yeah.
and she said she lives in Texas. And one day she said, "Have you guys ever been to Buc-ee's?" And she sent us beaver nuggets in the mail. We never got them
Yeah.
because we didn't know what Buc-ee's was at the time and all that.
Should they put them on dry ice or something? Like, how
I
do
don't
you-
know. I don't know, but she sent them
over.
Right.
She's claimed to send them, but we never got them.
Right.
No, I
But,
believe. Yeah, the guy, she definitely sent them, and I don't know. They just got lost.
They got lost. We never found them. But I think the thing that blew me away was I had toffee cookies or something like that,
Yeah,
bro.
you did.
They were like iced.
Yeah.
God,
Dude.
dude.
Oh, dude.
I think it's better if I don't go, dude.
Whatever
'cause
they
I
were
will
doing,
gotta
brother.
come out of.
There's things in there you
Disgusting.
never even. There's furniture in there. There's
Furniture.
like
Furniture.
it's unreal, dude. It's unreal.
You
that
need a
place.
barbecue? Buy one on the way out.
Yeah, bro. Oh, you like an actual unit?
Grill.
Oh, dude, I didn't eat today. I didn't eat today.
Dude, it's a gas station.
I wish they were
need it.
everywhere, brother.
Really bomb.
They're incredible.
Dude, they're so good.
They're incredible.
They're good.
man. And they're treated well. People don't walk in and like trash the place.
No, everybody's cool.
There's a lot of respect.
It's like
there.
everybody's glad to be a buck.
a lot of reverence for Buc-ee's, man.
Dude, straight up.
Yeah, man.
It's working.
Do you want to real quick? I want to get into favorite films.
Let's do it.
Can we do that?
Yeah, let's do it, man.
Yeah.
Let's get right into it,
Sure.
Mike.
I mean, we're over an hour in.
And before that, right before Instinct's telling me one question for Mike from you. I feel like you have questions for this man.
I do.
I knew you would, and I want one.
Wait a minute.
Think
All
about
right.
it, and you get one. So
Yeah,
think.
only one.
Oh man.
It's like a prompt.
Pressure's
It's a
on.
prompt and a question.
Okay.
You seem to, over the years, have I don't know if it's through this podcast or just sort of adjacent to it during this time, have really grown in confidence and comfortability and clarity, I guess I would say. Has this been a part of that? Or has this been a big part of that?
Dude. I mean, that's 100% the reason.
Cool.
And I appreciate you noticing that over the years. But yeah, I don't know. It's just this. It's just being able to talk to new people.
Talk
Dave-
these things out and
Yeah.
understand yourself
Yeah.
better. Yeah.
and I think there's a difference between in the beginning being more reserved, because I'm already reserved, but
Yeah.
being able to not like bring up things that might hurt maybe some people that listen,
Mm-hmm.
you know, but I don't think that's something you can't mend. You know what I mean? I think it's just, words mean something, you know what I mean? And you can fix that. You can uplift people, like you were saying. I don't know. Just there's only positives, I think, to talking about it, and that helped me so much.
Yeah.
just get out of my shell. And I'm still not like, there's still so much more I want to kind of come out of a shell of, but this definitely helped a lot with that.
Great.
Yeah.
It's been cool to watch, man.
Thanks, man.
It's like,
I appreciate it.
you guys have both, infused these almost, I think everybody who has a podcast or a talk show or anything else, these like versions of yourselves, I don't imagine Letterman's that Letterman in the kitchen at home, right? But it's definitely himself. And you guys kind of have these like podcast personas that you click into, and it's like almost through that you've been able to reveal a lot of it. So,
dude, let me tell you,
really
my parents watch because I don't open up to them that way.
Yeah, cool.
Like they're like, I don't even know you're like this.
Yeah.
Which is a little bit sad, but it's cool.
It's okay.
You know now.
Yeah, man.
And that only brought us closer by like when I said like it could hurt. Sometimes people, if you feel, I don't know, with them specifically, that thing, they might have, when I think about it, they might have made them feel like, oh, I don't even know my son. But then it's like, that's a point where we could be like, all right, let's learn about each other more.
Yeah.
And that happened. So I'm thankful for that.
Yeah. There's a cool thing that happens where, I don't know if you guys have had this moment yet. It dawns on you that your parents are, this isn't like an original thought, but it dawns on you that your parents are people instead of instead of just these important figures you love so much. They're just like,
one tear.
It just dawns on you like, oh, she was that girl who grew up in, it's like, but it's mom. It's like, yeah, dummy, it's both. Like,
yeah, man.
Man, she had a whole life before me.
Way before.
He had a whole thing before me. They have private thoughts.
Yeah.
They have private concerns. Like,
how about they did things for you that they didn't get?
Oh. Yeah.
How about that thought? Did they ever get that?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. The support and love and patience that I've got from my mom and my dad, they're like, it was for me what was required to be here alive, and you know what I mean? Like,
really.
It's I don't want to get too far into it, but I just because it'll be a mess.
We want tears.
I know you do.
I'm trying to clip tears.
I know. No, my mom and dad, when I hit them with this crazy thing that I wanted to do, on top of already being, having demonstrated a real penchant for self-destructive behavior, in the midst of that was like, and I'm going to leave the only place I know and can't figure anything out in, and go do this thing that's impossible that I've never done. Yeah, you know what I mean? To get that news and to have an adverse reaction to it is correct. And I want to go on the record to my mom and dad when I threw this shit up and went, no, I'm going to do this. And they went, the fuck are you talking? Like, they didn't obviously say that, but they went, dude, it's time to get serious about life. What are you talking about? And I'd also never uttered a word about it before. And then suddenly just went, I'm doing it. And that's that. And they went like, that's not, they had the proper reaction. It should have been tested. If I couldn't have handled somebody in Allen, Texas saying, don't take the next step, it's impossible, what the hell happens to me in LA? Right? It was good practice for going, God damn, everybody wants to tell you can't do this thing. Like, and they're not wrong. They're not crazy. They're also not right. They're also not, they don't have crystal balls. They can't see it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, bro.
They're just kind of talking good sense, which is, this is it's not near impossible. Impossible is not the right word. It's out on the edges of the realm of probability, right?
Almost lottery.
Lottery style. Yeah. Yeah. And in a way, let's say you got 2.5 million people and like 5,000 or 6,000 winners. And then some people, just like the lottery, 100,000 people that won $25.
That's right.
You know what I mean? And like, yeah, it's like that. And I get why they were careful and cautious. It's also why it meant so much when Robert Duvall told my dad that. I watched my dad go, this guy knows what my son doesn't. And this guy says there's something there. If
That's what you did for my dad.
did I really?
100%.
Wow.
100%. I'm just putting that together, but yeah,
Wow.
absolutely, dude. Coming out to Jersey and like having conversation with my father. I remember that. You being like, yeah,
Be like saying the same thing about
just
you?
big up
Yeah.
at me and just saying,
Yeah.
yeah, he can really do something if he sticks to it.
Yeah,
In your own words, in your own phrase.
it's true.
Yeah,
I mean,
but for
yeah.
him, it was kind of like if he says it, this guy who I've watched in movies in my kitchen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
no, that
for
was
him, it was a moment.
that was the moment.
Yeah.
And with all the uncertainty and I'm sure fear and really, man, the physical distance between me and my parents,
Mhm.
so in my family, so that I could go pursue this thing has been really like 20 something plus years of just not being nearby. I'm always off somewhere. And maybe that was part of the hesitation on their part too, is like, man, we love you and we want you to be a part of things. But it didn't take very long at all for them to just go, take it seriously. Like your sister is college and like we did this and that, like take it seriously if you're going to do it. And they've celebrated the smallest of victories for me with a full heart every time. My mom in particular is just full hearted and incredibly supportive and proud. And I love you, Mom.
Shout
I'm
out.
not going to do nothing more than that.
Shout out.
I can't do that.
Just one, Jim. Give us one, dude. No,
One
just
what?
kidding. I'm
One
just
what? You
kidding.
pussy.
Beef. Baseball.
No. Yeah. My mom and dad both have just made this possible.
Yeah, man.
Straight up. No other way to put it.
We have fighters too. We have lots of fighters.
Really? Gets big in the MMA world.
Vito Malnicki Jr., professional fighter, 16-1. He's got a fight coming up in August
Boxer?
10th.
Who just
Boxer from Roseland, New Jersey.
who just liked your story?
You like my story? I mean, that's like my story. Not to name drop. It's not about me.
Yeah, it's not.
Has nothing
It's
to
not
do
a
with
big
me.
deal.
Andre Berto, world champion.
Wow.
So I'm out there. I'm getting out there.
He liked something?
He liked my story. It was a song. It was a song you never think he'd like, but he liked it.
Somewhere over the rainbow?
Yeah, it was some like soft shit.
Oh, I know the kind of song you'd be posting.
Yeah. It was like Red Straight Clays or something like that. You know, Can't Go On Without You or something. I forget what it's called. But
I see your face in every flower.
yeah, something like that. Yeah.
He's just on there. He's watching. He's like, "Oh, that's an accident."
Yeah, he slipped on the thing.
Dude,
It's in his
trying to
pocket.
skip it on accident.
Just
Yeah,
butt
whatever,
dials,
dude.
But like,
You guys are jealous, man.
Dave DMs him and is like, dude, thank you. And he's like, the fuck?
guys.
No.
Listen, man. All I'm saying is we deal with the arts, the martial arts as well, dude.
Martial arts is an art.
Yeah, man. You know jiu-jitsu. You could twist a motherfucker up.
Don't
Nobody
say-
knows that about you, actually. Hold on.
don't say George.
Before we get into it, we're going to get into it now. Nobody knows you could twist a motherfucker up
really?
right now
I didn't
if
know
you
that.
want it.
Here's
You want it.
Here's the thing. Nobody knows how many people and how easily people you wouldn't know and suspect
Could get twisted. Twisted.
twist me up and chew me up and spit me out. And like you've met some of them.
Yeah. Eddie.
There's a lot of guys.
Eddie's like,
Dude,
Eddie's a humbling dude to me.
But there's a lot of guys at that place that are smaller than Eddie,
yeah.
that are 20 years older than me, that just make me go, all I sense is, boy, there's so far to go.
When you meet someone like that, like an Eddie,
Yeah.
can you see behind their eyes, they know they could kill you.
Yeah.
And so there's so much peace and like, oh, I got
That's
you,
it.
buddy.
That's
I got you, buddy.
Mm.
We're talking about my dear and beloved friend, Edgison Moraes,
Shout out Coach Eddie, man.
dude, at Gracie University in Torrance, California.
Birthplace of Gracie Jiu-Jitsu in America.
It's where I landed. And Eddie, I love you, bud. Our friendship dude, I'm not going to get into that either.
One
Just
tier.
because that's not what this is. But,
Yeah.
and he's, you know, I'd love to hit him with something I could just, I can say it here. That guy inspired a kind of confidence in me that I didn't have in myself. And he was as tender and responsible for my development as if I were a little child, right?
Yeah, man.
And he were my parent, but this like Superman sized patience and this nurturing energy that you just don't associate with, maybe I should go learn how to have a fight.
Yeah.
And dude, Andy'll kill you
Quick.
hard.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
how I feel about Angelo. Same.
Or
Dude, I was about
get
to
you
say.
right to the point where he could kill you and then ask you, like, would you rather, one of his little jokes, would you rather go get a bowl of acai together and talk about it? And it's like, that's his heart.
Yeah, man.
You know?
Yeah, dude.
During 2020, when things were getting rough for businesses in California that summer, and a lot of places were boarding up their shop and stuff like that. Eddie said something that I don't know how much I'm supposed to say or not say, but he would stay there at night and he put a sign on the outside of the Jiu-Jitsu Academy that just said, "Love conquers all."
Wow.
Or choose love, something like that. One of those two. And just put it out and looked at me with full confidence and said, "Brother, no one will touch this place." Right? When in that same area, there was a lot of broken glass. There was a lot of the evidence of tremendous anger. And the businesses were taking the brunt of that as if they had something to do with the thing that had people angry. And instead of boarding him, it's the Gracie family's Jiu-Jitsu Academy. No, the Gracie family's got Jiu-Jitsu academies all over the place. But this is Orion's two sons, Heron and Henner, who are
Studs.
just the coolest cats in the world.
Make you feel almost like you're not a man, kind of. At least when I look at them.
Dude, and that's them trying to make you feel good about yourself.
Yeah.
Imagine the way they could make you feel not like a man. You might not ever come back.
There's nothing sexier than that, though. Someone who's just in full control of like killing you, and then
sexy, smart,
yeah,
incredible men. They're the kind of men that make you want to take aim at being like that.
100%.
And anyhow, during that time, Eddie stayed at the place, and
wow.
I said, "Dude, do you have a firearm? Do you have anything in case shit gets busy over here?" I remember we were in the locker room, and he had his shirt off, and he did like this, and he said, "If someone wants to take my life, they can come and take it, but I will not use something to take their life from them." Wow. And I was like, that's not my philosophy, but it was so beautiful coming from this man who was so sincere. He has as sincere a human heart as you're ever going to meet. And it's one of the people I thank God for. And
dude,
I've gotten loads more human value out of my time at that place than technical ability or anything like that. You're just my friend. So you're kind to say I can twist people up. There are 105-pound women there that would have me doing whatever they wanted me to do in a matter of seconds.
Yeah.
And there are small teenagers who could fight all day long and who just have cardio capacities. And there are old withered people who have so much knowledge. Doesn't matter what kind of shape their body's in anymore. Yeah. They can kill you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then there's this cool binding spirit of love there. And it really is, that is a very intentional thing that Henner and Heron do is this is our love of what our family brought to the planet. Like I've never met somebody whose life purpose is the continuation of a family legacy before until I had my first conversation I ever had with Henner. He stated said, that's why he said, my grandfather invented it. My father knew it had to come to the United States to become what it could become. And my job, he said, my purpose in this world is that every man, woman, and child in the world know jiu-jitsu and to continue my family's legacy. And talk about somebody with a powerful online presence as well. But you meet him and he's look, we all have egos, but is ego's not what's meeting you. Is ego's not what's teaching you. Is ego's not what's encouraging you as you flounder and, you know, don't show up for months on end. And it's like, he's just going, hey, out of love. And it's like, dude, it totally obscures how dangerous he is.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Totally obscures it. Last guy in the world you would think they could handle, with the exception of the pro fighters.
Yeah.
Nobody in the world's fucking with that guy.
Yeah.
And you'd just never know. You would never know. You knew there was something he was doing right. He's like glows.
Yeah.
Both the brothers have this glow. But what they have given me I trust.
Yeah. Yeah. That's how I feel about the boxing, man, with Angelo. Like, I wish you could meet. I would really love for you guys to meet.
I'd love that.
My uncle. With the training, it wasn't so much the gift of giving me a technical ability day in and day out. It was like getting me to a point where he would put me in positions with the vessel of boxing being the thing that we engage in.
Yeah.
But it was always to get me to a point of breakdown where I would question myself and my will.
Right.
It would bring me to a place where I had to look at myself in the mirror, my weakest, and say, and he would like be in my face with me, like with tears or with,
Dude,
you know, like screams or heaving or whatever, and say, go. Like, there's more to be done. You have more in you. Now we dig. Now, and I know what that meant before, bro.
Yeah.
I didn't know what he was trying to say for a while until you did. He would bring me there over and over and over. And you'd have to, I'd be there to meet him because it was with love. It wasn't like, he wasn't screaming at me to do it because he was like, he won't get paid if I don't dig. If he doesn't get his thing if I don't dig. He's trying to reveal to me something about myself, about being a human being on this planet.
Yeah.
There's always a bit more that you can go, Dave, if you just do it.
Yeah.
If you just trust yourself that there's a well inside you that you don't know how great you are, he was trying to tell me. And you have something, and if you just swing one more time, two more times, three more times, you're going to surprise yourself. So by the end of these rounds where you're heaving and you're in that mind, that thing you've learned over years and years of not being checked, of being comfortable, of finding like comfort in life, where you tell yourself, I'm done.
Right.
This is my end. He taught me that there's another gear that I can develop and shape and grow in, and I could keep swinging, man, and I could get up and keep swinging.
That's
so the
crazy.
craft was something beautiful, and I'm grateful for that, really. I do it on my own now.
Right.
But more so the love that I got from him and that gift of like, dig and keep swinging.
Yeah.
I find more strength in those moments now.
Yeah.
I'm a stronger person because of what he taught me in those moments.
Yeah.
Specifically. Not so much like, this is how you throw the left hook, but it's what you do when you're broken, man. Like what you do when you think you can't do anymore. That's what boxing gave. That's what Uncle Angelo gave me.
That's incredible.
Yeah, man. And and Mike, you've met him, and you know, he talked, and we met Vito and, you know, Chase and everyone. These fighters, these people that are like, and not these technicians of martial arts.
Yeah.
They're some of the most poetic people in the world, dude. You say that
there's a reason there's so many movies about.
They're brilliant.
Boxing coaches.
Dude, they're brilliant.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
He sat and told me a story real quick. I'll be short, but like, but he was in the Junior Olympics, right? And he ended up winning his hardest fight of his life. He comes back to Paterson, New Jersey, and he's going to school, first day back in class, right? He's in middle school. So freshman year of high school. Comes back into the school, and he goes, you know, I'm walking, I'm all banged up still, and he's sitting on the ring telling me this is the morning of a training day, and he goes, yeah, and I'm walking into class, and no one's really said anything to me, really. You know, I'm kind of trying to hide my bruises. I'm a little embarrassed. And he goes, sitting there, and the intercom comes on. And, you know, they're going through the weather and like daily report for the day and the national anthem. He goes, we all sit back down. He goes, and then the principal says over the intercom, and one of your own, Angelo Curro, is a junior Olympic world champion. And he said, and he started crying. He said, Dave, the room started shaking because all I heard was people banging on the floors with their feet upstairs and around in the room. So it was just a rumble and a laughter and he said, and he was reliving it in front of me, dude, like tearing up. And he goes, I wish everyone could feel what I felt for those 2 minutes.
Incredible.
Because I wish everyone could feel that.
Incredible.
And I said, the heart you got to have, man.
Yeah.
What you're doing is punching someone in the face, getting punched and trying to move. Like that's what you do with your body. That's the act you put out there. It's brutalizing.
That accomplishment and then recognition.
Dude, of his fellow man. Like
that's what Izzy said when he won the belt back, remember?
Yes, dude, exactly
said,
that.
I wish
you could feel what I feel.
Every one of you could have this feeling. He said, but
take something.
Every one of you won't do what I do.
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah. I just thought
it came with that hard truth. Like, yeah, who does what he does?
Nobody, man.
There's
a very slim few. Yeah.
There's 1,000 people on earth doing it at that level.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I just mean that guy's a
world beater, dude.
That dude's a professional mixed martial artist.
Yeah.
Right. There's obviously more than that, but like on some stage of real notoriety.
Yeah.
And then you talk about a game where like I've always been so fascinated by the levels, dude.
Bro.
Like even as a kid, like damn, the worst dude in the NBA
would cut us up, man.
He's the best dude you've ever come within 1,000 yards.
Yeah, bro.
You know what I mean?
Brian Scalabrine, like, man.
Sick.
Yeah.
Sick basketball player.
Yeah.
Insane. Goes to the NBA and it's like, do you want to see levels? All right, there's him. Then there's him, then there's him, then there's him. And then at some point you just go, then there's that one.
Yeah.
Right? Who are usually on a level or like a level and a half with another one or two people.
Yes.
Dude, you talk about a sport where the levels are crazy. Mixed martial arts.
Wild.
The level. Think about to get to the best show on television. Before we get into the best movies, it's Dana White's Contender Series.
Contender Series, you're right.
There's no better drama on television anywhere. Full stop. Their crews do such an amazing job of getting, editing, filming, enticing the viewer with the human story. This guy's coming from here. He's, grew up in the favelas and this, and this. And this dude seems okay, but we get to the part of the story where his dad died 2 years ago, and he swore to his dad to his dad's body that, by such and such age, he'd be UFC champion.
Yeah,
and he's like just drifting around somewhere in the Midwest. And these two stories, boom, collide. Surprising, but inevitable. What's the inevitable part? Somebody wins, somebody loses. What's the surprising part? Every fucking thing else.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else. And they give you 2 minutes of each guy and they give you a fight, and the fight might be 2 seconds or it might be 15 minutes, but it's all drama.
Yeah.
It's all action. It's if you like if I were trying to understand how to write my next script better,
yes.
What do you mean surprising but inevitable?
Yes.
What do you mean, the acute, achievable, stated goal to be UFC champion? But here's the first thing, right? If this is the Odyssey, it's like, here are the sirens. Do you survive? Do you not?
Yeah.
Kind of crazy thing. It's, can you win a fight and win in a fashion where the boss goes, hey, you're with us now.
Yeah, man.
What's more dramatic than that?
It's nothing. That's the most elevated circumstance.
It's so dramatic. I think it has the power to take people who wouldn't care for the sport,
definitely,
and convert them.
Definitely.
Straight up.
Why do you think we revere human beings when you give it a chance? Why do you think we revere fighters?
Because it's something we all might have to do, I think. And the people who can, we know, also represent everybody that could better than us. And maybe more than anything, that taps into the same kind of thing that wants to understand what scares you a little bit. Like, oh, there's people out there that could do whatever they want to me. Like, I'm curious about that.
Yeah.
Because what I know, as a hybrid animal spiritual being, both those things are virtually perpetually in a state of war or readiness of war. I think as spiritual beings, we're at war more often than we're not, whether we realize it or not. And as animals, we're certainly competing all the fucking time. Like, the drive over here was a competition. Can you edge them out to get to the lane you need to get to the podcast, right? And it's like, we're always doing that, which is a fight of sorts. the fight to get here better than the end, the fight to get here on time through traffic, the fight. And then there's just that thing that all of us might have to do. Every man, woman, and child might have to fight another human being someday. And every mammal, and most animals in the animal kingdom, this is not my own thought, this came straight out of the Gracie family, has a fighting system, an instinctual fighting system. They know what to do when it's time to fight. If my dog thinks he's going to fight, he spring loads his hips and he protects his throat. He lowers his throat so it's less vulnerable, becomes ready, right? Which also protects another valuable asset of his. A bird knows how to fight. A fucking praying mantis knows how to fight. An ant knows how to fight. Everything knows how to fight. You get to us, and it's like something about having a consciousness took away the purity of an instinct, what to do when in combat with something like yourself. And so like the first instinct, you can watch any untrained fighter do it, is to like launch and flail and inadvertently expose yourself to a kind of danger that you wouldn't be in if you just sat the fuck back and did nothing. The kind of danger, you know, that flailing shit's like more danger than you'd be in if you just covered your head and sat still. It makes you more vulnerable. The thing you think is going to save you. Maybe that's why it's also spiritual. The thing you think is going to save you is going to fuck you all up. Could kill you, could take you out, could damage you badly. In the Gracie family codified what, as it turns out, just by like, just according to our biology, you know, the lay of our bones, the way things connect, the way we need blood, the way blood goes to the brain, looking at where we're most vulnerable, on the ground, on our back, someone on our back, right? And they put together a system that is as intuitively, it's as close to like a good, proper, instinctual fighting system, if we were to have one, that you're going to find. Mm-hmm. It involves, you know, at like the pure level, it involves striking too. It involves escaping trouble. Like, I love boxing. It's the sweet science. How do you escape the ground? How do you escape the wall? Right?
You asking me?
Yeah.
This is what I would do.
But I'm saying, no. I'm saying with boxing.
No, I understand.
You would start doing something else out of the realm of boxing.
Have to. I'd go back to Eddie doing this.
Even this
yeah,
isn't boxing.
That's not going to help.
That's just you back to the untrained fighter flailing.
Yeah.
Going like head hurts, throat maybe. Like we kind of seem to know to go for each other's necks a little bit. We kind of seem to know to go for the head.
Yeah.
It's not instinctual to think I could, you know, you could paralyze me by kicking me in my perennial nerve. I didn't know I had one.
I wouldn't have thought
So
of
that's
that.
a technique. That's something we had to come up with for ourselves that my dog doesn't have to bother with.
Yeah.
Didn't have to worry about that shit. He's purely got an instinct. Everything has an instinct.
Yeah, man.
A minnow has an instinct for it.
There was a dude and jumped, and another guy, while he was getting jumped, there was like two people jumping him. He kind of turned his head to the back of the wall, like to a wall, and he was like covering up. And a dude behind him, his instinct was to put his finger up the dude's butthole. And I'm like, what is that even going to do, man? You know what I mean?
I'm looking at Mikey right now.
No, like instinct. Like, what is that? In the middle of a jumping. Like,
his instinct.
What's the move there?
To save his own life, like through clothes?
No, his drawers came down a bit. I think he saw his second instinct. The first thing
his instinct said, "There's an exposed, vulnerable part of this person," but his instinct wasn't right about whether it was effective fighting or not. If my dog sees what he thinks is vulnerable on you,
he's gonna bite it.
He's gonna be right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And this guy was wrong. Like, you're probably not going to suffer an emotional wound as bad as being in a fight with a man who spins you around and sticks his finger up your ass.
That might end my life. I'd be like, everything's taken from me with my pants down, and I'm like, what am I going to do here?
I almost passed
there's definitely emotional survival to consider there.
Dude.
I almost passed
wallet gone, pants down.
Like
asshole fingered.
Cute girl with a cell phone out.
Yeah, people recording you.
Mikey-
Someone's getting jumped.
Mikey crying. Oh, bro.
That might
But
be bad.
that's what I mean. Like my very limited exposure to
Almost passed
jiu-jitsu
out.
through that academy, one of the things that it did is just, and I mean really limited, but so valuable when I did get there, is there are people who know exactly what to do. and they're so bro, they are so different than the dude checking the oil
Yeah, man.
in the alley
Yeah.
fight or whatever, that it's almost like they're a different species.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's as different a response to a conflict situation as a whale might have from a fire ant. It's like
Yeah.
it's almost like specially different.
Yeah.
It's one of the most like, I don't know what else I could say this about, but one of those things in human beings that if you don't know anything, you are so much worse off than if you knew like a tiny bit.
Can I tell you a true story?
Mm.
What I did a movie where I played a Marine, and my favorite part of it was the real Force Recon Marines that were the advisors that they brought in on it, that later did some of Clint Eastwood's war movies, and just phenomenal, man. Tom Mender, Jim Deaver, Gunnery Sergeant Quay. These guys were just sick. And Tom Mender was a staff sergeant who was also charged. He wasn't the only guy, but he was also at that point in his career, like I think semi-retired or an ambassador for the Marine Corps, working in the film industry. But one of the things he also had to do was training guys on how to fight hand-to-hand combat. And he had been doing that for 20-something years, so he knew a little bit of everything. Plus was like the most G.I. Joe action figure Marine you've ever seen in your life. Like as much of like Jarhead Marine prototype as a 50-year-old badass as you'd ever fucking see. And he really opened up to us as it went on. He was a tough guy to talk to first. And I'll never forget this thing that he said when he was talking about training people to fight. He said, I've seen this with my own eyes all over the world. Someone with any kind of fight training at all. And he said, I don't care. He's like, of course there are the martial arts that are more valuable than others. He said, but with anything is better off in a fight than somebody who's physically more adept for that situation, who has no training at all. And he said like, I mean, like if you boxed for 6 months when you were 18, you're better off in a fight than the 18-year-old version of yourself that had never boxed, even if you're an old man.
Yeah.
Right. And that's true. If you're a 55-year-old guy who knows how to get your base and throw a punch and maybe move a little bit, you could beat the ass of 18-year-old you.
Yeah.
That never bothered to learn any of that stuff.
Right.
And it's one of those things that's like cool because it's become an interest outside of acting later in life, and it's a new thing to geek out over. And there's nothing just more organically helpful in becoming fully aware of how humble you should be than boxers and real jiu-jitsu guys and lifelong wrestlers and judo guys. And it's like, dude, I'm a mixed martial artist. Somebody putting it all together. It's like, it's the coolest shit in the world. Those are like the people I look up to.
That's what I want to be around.
It's kind of like creative dearth we're in now, where there's no heroes.
Yeah.
Well, there are in mixed martial arts.
Oh yeah.
There are at the Jiu-Jitsu Academy.
There's real folk like legends living, dude.
It's like the UFC's motto, as real as it gets. Whether that's the UFC or not, and I think it is, it's damn sure true about fighting.
100%.
Fighting's as real as it gets.
100%, man. 100%.
They took that from us.
They stole it off of this podcast, probably.
Real as it gets, dude. Realest podcast in the game.
Let's get anything on the side from
nothing,
Dana,
dude.
maybe?
Not a damn
Crazy.
No.
not a damn thing. bro.
Crazy. You know who you guys should have on? Dean Thomas.
Yeah. Dean, come on over.
Dean
Oh,
Thomas.
you're right, dude. Why have we not thought?
He's a friend, and he's transitioning into actor.
Oh, Dean, come on the show, man.
He's solid.
Come on,
He's
brother.
a solid actor, and he's hungry, man.
Yeah.
And,
Let's go. And a bad mother effort, dude.
BMF.
Yeah, man.
Go watch like young Dean Thomas versus Jeremy Stevens.
Yeah.
Like 2005.
Oh, yeah.
Be like, oh,
I think I watched that fight. I think I fucking watched that fight.
dude. Dean said he learned back in the day in the 90s would get like jiu-jitsu tapes and DVDs.
Off of the,
Yeah, there was nobody in his part of Florida teaching the shit.
and he would just train
Isn't it
himself.
crazy to think of a place in America right now
You
where you
couldn't.
couldn't go train jiu-jitsu somewhere?
Yeah, we were in Montclair,
Right.
New Jersey, looking at a MMA
Walked
gym.
right past it.
Yeah,
Yeah, like across from upscale coffee shops.
yuppies.
There's a cage
Yeah.
where people fight.
Yeah, dude.
Crazy.
Yeah, it didn't exist, man. You had to get a tape from the UFC
Yeah.
or something. Yeah, man. Or Pride.
Yeah. When we talk about having, when Haley and I talk about having kids, we're always like, hey, see what they want to do and everything. But to Mikey's point,
Some martial art.
maybe it's a
Yeah.
thing, alongside reading and
Yeah.
stuff that you should know how to do just in case, because the stakes are so high
Yeah,
and the world is unpredictable.
yeah. You call Uncle Dave will teach him how to box.
Throw that sick jab,
No,
that
I-
snappy, squatty leg, those big legs, load that jab up. You don't see it cracking you.
I'm telling you.
I'll tell you something.
Don't
real
laugh,
quick.
Eden.
I'm not laughing
No,
either. Dude.
I know, man.
I wouldn't want to
He
stand
knows.
across from you and throw hands.
He knows.
I'm
And
trying
I
to
wouldn't
spar
like
with
you
him.
to
I wanna
touch
do it for 2
anywhere on my
seconds.
body that brings me anywhere near the ground, bro. Or even standing.
For 2
I don't
seconds.
want that, dude.
I'm either begging and running.
I don't
or
want that.
Or I'm,
I don't
or I'm
want that at
hoping.
all.
I'm hoping and trying to get as close to you as I can.
Yeah, no, I'm red zoning you all day, dude. I'm just popping you out here.
Horrible.
Dude, thank you guys. Thank you for this, Jim.
Yeah.
This was sick.
It was
great.
such a
Great
pleasure to
talking.
have you,
This
bro.
was so fun, dude.
I'm glad you're here.
Proud
for
of you
this, man.
guys.
Thank you,
Thank you,
dude.
man.
Yeah.
Thank you, man.
Let's go eat.
Let's go,
Guys,
Mikey.
Thank you so much. My name's Mike. I'm signing up.
My name's Dave. I love y'all. Please be kind to yourself. Please be kind to one another.
Love y'all.
Okay, now I gotta really do it. Dave, you have to. Don't look behind you. We're good, we're good, we're good! Yes! I don't wanna look at this anymore.